Today we're going to visit the Garden State and learn about the 10 worst cities to live in New Jersey. We evaluated crime, poverty, education, property values, and overall quality of life to come up with our list. Number 10. Elizabeth. The blue-collar city of Elizabeth, with its population of 130,000, sits at number 10 on our list. Per capita income is just over $20,000, which puts it over 30% lower than the national average and almost 45% below the New Jersey average. Schools in Elizabeth rank 448 out of 523 in New Jersey. And spoiler alert, as bad as that sounds, Elizabeth's terrible schools are the second best out of the cities on this list. Elizabeth's crime index is a 9, meaning it is less safe than 91% of U.S. cities. According to 2019 FBI crime statistics, there were 7 murders and 50 reported rapes. 1 in 33 residents are likely to be the victim of some kind of property crime, and residents of Elizabeth are more than 3 times as likely to be the victim of a violent crime than residents of New Jersey as a whole. Number 9. Millville. The southern New Jersey city of Millville is home to 27,000 people. Per capita income is only $25,000, which is low for New Jersey, but only 19% of Millville residents live below the poverty line. Millville is a mix of white-collar and blue-collar workers, rich and poor. Schools in Millville are pretty terrible, ranking 513 out of 523 in the state. The Millville Crime Index is 6, meaning crime here is worse than 94% of the rest of the United States. The biggest problem is property crime. In New Jersey, 1 in 75 residents will be the victim of a property crime. In Millville, that number is 1 in 25. Number 8. Paterson. Paterson, with its 145,000 residents, has the 3rd highest population density of cities with populations over 100,000, behind only New York City and San Francisco. That alone should give you pause if you're considering moving here. Per capita income is only $18,000, and 28.1% of Paterson's residents live below the poverty line. The schools are bad, ranking 491 of 523, and the unemployment rate is double the national average. The crime index in Paterson is 15, with property crimes being only slightly above the state average, but violent crime is almost 4 times above the state average. Paterson saw 19 murders and 54 reported rapes and almost 700 assaults in 2019. Number 7. New Brunswick. The central New Jersey city of New Brunswick has a population of around 56,000. New Brunswick is home to a large number of people that take the 1-hour commute into Manhattan on a daily basis, but it's also home to a lot of really poor people. Per capita income is only $15,000, which puts it near the very bottom of New Jersey's cities, and the poverty rate here is 34.2%, which, incredibly, is only the 3rd worst on this list. New Brunswick schools rank number 500 of 523, and its crime index is a 13. Both property crimes and violent crimes occur at a rate twice as high as the New Jersey average. In 2019, there were 3 murders and only 11 reported rapes in New Brunswick. Number 6. Newark. New Jersey's largest city, Newark, is home to 282,000 people. Newark has the largest port on the East Coast, so there's a large blue-collar population here, but it is also home to many of the largest insurance companies in the U.S., as well as over 1,000 law firms. White-collar workers make up a large part of the 100,000 workers that commute into Newark each day. The dynamic this creates is interesting. Per capita income is really low, about $19,000, and poverty is high, 28% living at or below the poverty line. But crime is relatively low for a city with so much poverty. The crime index is 22, meaning it's only more dangerous than 78% of the rest of the United States. With that said, 2019 FBI crime statistics show 57 murders and 129 reported rapes. On top of all of this, 5 of the last 7 Newark mayors have been indicted on criminal charges. On the bright side, the schools here rank 446 of 523. Newark has the best schools on this entire list. Number 5. Trenton. Trenton is the capital of New Jersey and home to 83,000 residents. Like several cities on this list, Trenton city government has been plagued by corruption, with its former mayor being convicted of felony bribery, fraud, and extortion in 2014. Overall crime in Trenton is high, with its crime index at 12. Violent crimes occur at a rate more than 5 times higher than the state average, with 1 in 87 residents likely to be the victim of a violent crime. In 2019, there were 15 murders and 74 reported rapes in Trenton, along with 565 assaults. 28% of Trenton's residents live in poverty, and the per capita income is only $18,473, well below the national average of $31,000. Number 4. Bridgeton. The southern New Jersey town of Bridgeton, with its population of 24,000, hardly has a chance to be good with neighbors like Millville and Vineland. Poverty in Bridgeton is worse than both of those cities and is currently 33%, and its per capita income is one of only 2 places on this list that are below $15,000. Typical of cities full of poverty, schools in Bridgeton are some of the worst in New Jersey, ranking number 506 of 523. The Bridgeton Crime Index is 6, meaning it is less safe than 94% of U.S. cities. Violent crime is almost 5 times the New Jersey average, and property crime is nearly 3 times the state average. Residents have a 1 in 28 chance of being a victim of a property crime. Number 3. Asbury Park. Located on the Jersey Shore, Asbury Park is home to 15,000 people. Asbury Park has long been known for its vibrant music scene, and specifically for Bruce Springsteen, whose debut album was titled Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey. What Asbury Park is not known for is great schools or public safety. Schools here rank 494 of 523, and the crime index is a 6. To be fair, murders in Asbury Park have declined significantly from the early 2000s, when half the murders in Monmouth County were happening right here in Asbury Park. In 2019, there were only 2 people murdered in Asbury Park. Asbury Park's per capita income of $32,000 is higher than the New Jersey average, and Asbury Park has some of the highest housing costs in the nation. However, the poverty rate is still above 28%. Number 2. Atlantic City. Believe it or not, almost 38,000 people call Atlantic City home. Lying on the Atlantic coast in southern New Jersey, Atlantic City is most well known for its casinos and famous boardwalk. But it should also be known for its crime. Both violent crimes and property crimes are 4 times as likely to happen here than anywhere else in New Jersey. 1 out of every 22 residents will be the victim of a property crime, most likely some kind of theft. In 2019, there were 11 murders in Atlantic City, as well as 29 reported rapes. Annually, there are 218 crimes per square mile. For perspective, nationally, there are 28 crimes per square mile. Per capita income in Atlantic City is just below $20,000, and Atlantic City schools rank 484 of 523. So they aren't as horrible as you might expect from a city that has a whopping poverty rate of 37.6%. Before we get to number 1, let's take a minute to look at the dishonorable mentions, the cities that just weren't quite terrible enough to make the top 10. Congratulations, Passaic, Lindenwold, West New York, Vineland, and Orange. Better luck next year. Now, on to number 1. And I'm sure no one will be surprised to see that the worst city in New Jersey is Camden. If you're looking for terrible schools, violent crime, and devastating poverty, you'll find it all in Camden, New Jersey. Camden is home to a rapidly declining population of 73,000. In 2010, massive police corruption was exposed that led to the disbanding of the Camden Police Department. They were replaced by the newly formed Camden County Police Department. Coincidentally, violent crime, particularly murders, have declined since then. However, Camden is still incredibly unsafe. In 2019, there were still 25 murders and 67 rapes reported. Camden has an overall crime index of 6, which is comparable to other cities on this list, but what separates Camden is the violent crime rate, which is 7 times higher than the rest of New Jersey, with residents having a 1 in 63 chance of being the victim of a violent crime. And Camden schools? Well, they rank 517 out of 523. So believe it or not, there are cities somewhere in New Jersey with worse schools than Camden. And we're looking at you, Lindenwold and Seaside Heights. Per capita income in Camden is the lowest on our list at $14,747. And poverty is 36.8%. Basically, Camden hits the bottom of every category we look at when making these lists. Camden is a legit contender as the worst city in America. I hope you've enjoyed our little trip through the worst cities in New Jersey. Please take a second to subscribe to our channel and feel free to leave a comment below. Is there a city we left off the list, or is there a city that shouldn't be on the list? Let us know. And until next time, have fun.